Being my favorite band of all time, My Chemical Romance has made a ton of amazing music. I put together a list of my top 20 or so MCR songs in order, and I'm hoping that we can share our love of this awesome music together. Please feel free to leave your own list in the comments. With that said, let's get into the finale of my MCR series on this channel. Enjoy. We have a few honorable mentions that just barely missed the cut. Those are Sing, 0%, and Boy Division. These songs are still great, but MCR being MCR, there are just too many amazing other tracks that overtake these. Just know before you get mad at me that these songs are very close to making the list. Starting off at number 20 is Mama. Now I might catch some heat for this since this is the MCR community's golden child, but Mama is kind of overrated. I know, come hunt me down. But in all seriousness, Mama is still a very good song. It's grown on me slightly over the years, and it's an important part of the Black Parade. The bridge is definitely my favorite part of the song, especially when Gerard's crying Mama over and over again. That part and the chorus are what make Mama part of my top 20. Next up is Cemetery Drive, a rather recent addition onto this list. Cemetery Drive seems to be another one of the MCR community's favorites, which is understandable. The combination of all the different elements is great too, especially the more subtle bass guitar and bells. Gerard's vocals are also heartbreaking in the best way. That man's talent to express emotions is next level. My favorite part is probably the chorus, one of the many great tracks from Three Cheers. Surrender the Night was the first song I heard from MCR's fifth album, Conventional Weapons. It's not my favorite from the record, but I think it does a good job at representing the best parts of Conventional Weapons. The guitar is the best on the album, and the melodies in the chorus and bridge are super catchy. I especially love the outro to send the listener into the final track of Conventional Weapons. Demolition Lovers is yet another community favorite, and it's easy to see why. Whether you're looking for sadness, anger, regret, or even death, Demo Lovers has it all. This is MCR's longest song, clocking it at just over 6 minutes, and every single second is used to its full ability. The reason I put a little asterisk by the score for this track is that it only reaches its full potential at the end of binging the album. In those circumstances, Demo Lovers easily rises into the top 10. The progression throughout the runtime is top-notch, and I think the song is a huge part of MCR's legacy. My favorite part would either have to be the guitar solo in the bridge or the first chorus, but it doesn't really matter because either way, Demo Lovers is great. Here it is, MCR's token song, the emo anthem, Welcome to the Black Parade. I know it's not actually emo, but it's funny to poke fun. Welcome to the Black Parade was a song to get me into MCR all the way back in 2020, and I'm super grateful because this is now my favorite band. This is another one of the band's longest songs, over 5 minutes long, and just like with Demo Lovers, the progression is elite. Each part of the track has its own personality and is super memorable, my favorite of which being the bridge, of course. And we can't forget... Sorry, I had to, again. Thank you to Welcome to the Black Parade for introducing me to this amazing band. Thank You for the Venom has consistently been just a great song. The guitar takes full control on this one, creating addicting riffs, a very nice guitar solo, and of course that iconic intro. Also, the pre-chorus sounds like the What's New Scooby-Doo theme song, which is super funny to me. Thank You for the Venom is almost reminiscent of some songs from Bullets with a much screamier vocal style and darker tone with the guitars. All the different sections are basically the same great quality, so I can't really pick a favorite part. Anyways, Thank You for the Venom is just a great track. Another one from Three Cheers. I'm Not Okay is probably MCR's most emo track. It's kind of hard to deny. Despite the no one understands me vibe, I'm Not Okay is one of the band's most catchy songs. From the opening guitar riff to the final lyric, this song slaps. Most notably near the end where Gerard yells, "I'm not O-F-N-K." This was MCR's first big hit song, being the first to reach the Billboard Hot 100, and I'm thankful to this track for giving the band their first big break. Aside from that, I'm Not Okay just sounds really good, and that's why it's here on this list. Honey, This Mirror Isn't Big Enough for the Two of Us is another community favorite from Bullets. This is, in my opinion, MCR's best execution of the angry, screamy style. Honey, This Mirror acts as a great representation of the first album, with its sinister guitars and angelically demonic vocals giving a peek into what the rest of the album has to offer. The intro is iconic, and the intensity this track brings to the table really sets it apart from a lot of the band's later music. Difficult to choose a favorite part, but I'll just say the outro. Another absolute classic from Bullets. You Know What They Do to Guys Like Us in Prison is one of the most underrated tracks from Three Cheers. Its intensity through the chorus and bridge is a callback to Bullets, and the Burt McCracken feature was a great choice. I love the panic atmosphere in the second verse, with Burt acting as a kind of backup choir for Gerard. The whole theme of prison and destroying past relationships feels like the perfect fit for the faster-paced instrumentals, at least during the second half of the runtime. The outro is also just amazing. It reminds me of Our Lady of Sorrows and is definitely my favorite part. You Know What They Do is without a doubt one of MCR's best classics. Now getting into the S tier, we have Helena. Helena was written about Gerard and Mikey Way's late grandmother, Elena, and you can tell Gerard put his heart and soul into these lyrics. The way the words fuse with the sad guitar in the chorus brings tears to the eyes. The music video is also incredible and one of the most iconic rock videos of the 2000s for sure. Helena was another one of MCR's earliest hits, and to this day likely the most popular song from 3 Cheers. My favorite part is obviously the chorus. What else? I really love this track, and the fact that it's not even top 10 speaks to the greatness of MCR. Introducing the top 10 is Famous Last Words. This song is just so great. It's on the longer side at 5 minutes, and just like with Welcome to the Black Parade, every single part feels purposeful and important to the progression. Famous Last Words is of course the closer for the Black Parade, not including Blood, and I'd say it does an amazing job at sending off my favorite album of all time. The quality through the entire track is super consistent. Every section sounds great, especially the second verse and the outro. The dual endings gimmick is also done very well, signifying whether the patient in the concept goes to heaven or hell. And of course I have to give a special mention to the guitars. Mikey, Ray, Frank, they all killed it in this one. Burn Bright is probably the most unexpected member of the top 10 for many of you. When I first listened to Conventional Weapons, I actually preferred Surrender the Night, but over time I've come to appreciate the more nuanced and overlooked details of Burn Bright, and that's why it's here. Sure, the verses are on the weaker side, but the chorus makes up for that with its insane vocal harmonies. This is also one of Mikey's best performances for sure. You can really feel the impact the bass guitar has on everything. The bridge is also one of MCR's best bridges, which is my favorite part along with the outro. In short, Burn Bright is an underrated masterpiece and it's the perfect song to send off MCR's final album. Another extremely underrated song, House of Wolves. House of Wolves has a certain charm to it that only MCR can provide. It's a combination of the energetic guitars and Gerard's vocals that really put this track over the top. The lyrics seem to be about someone who's running from the law and their dark past, and the instrumentals emulate that mood perfectly. From the opening riff to the final drum beat, House of Wolves is bursting with hard-rocking energy. While this track is very guitar-centric, Gerard's vocals are some of the best on the Black Parade. The best part though has to be the outro. Don't get me wrong, every section of the song slaps, but that outro with Ray's insane guitar and Gerard's fun energy is on another level. House of Wolves and the next entry on the list are basically interchangeable, so keep that in mind. Another very recent addition to this top 10. I remember the day the Foundations of Decay came out on YouTube. I must have listened to it like 10 times that night. I always really liked Foundations, but it wasn't until the last few months or so that I really began enjoying it. The main thing that gave Foundations this boost is the breakdown, which is obviously the best part, and one of the best breakdowns of the 2020s so far in my opinion. Definitely not biased. This is also, I believe, MCR's second longest song behind Demo Lovers, coming in at 6 minutes. The super drawn out intro and outro have just the right amount of suspense, and the use of guitar feedback is honestly genius. When you can definitely hear a bit of difference in Gerard's voice, it's still impressive how at the time 45-year-old man can still produce that kind of power in his singing. I love the Foundations of Decay, and it's amazing that we get this gem nearly 10 years after the band split. My favorite track from Bullets, Vampires Will Never Hurt You. This was the song to introduce me to this album, and honestly, the first time I really loved screaming in music. Before this, I was always pretty against the unpolished, angry type of screaming, but after falling in love with Vampires and Demo Lovers, that all changed. I credit Vampires with getting me into screamo, which is basically half of what I listen to now. The reason this song is so great is its unapologetic anger and eerie instrumentals. The intro is haunting, and that kind of creepy and sinister atmosphere is carried on through the rest of the song. The outro is my personal favorite part, of course. I love the slow build up to that moment. Again, thank you so much to Vampires Will Never Hurt You for changing my music taste forever. Starting off the top 5 is To the End and For One Reason. Well, not just one reason, but this ranking is heavily based on one part of the song. That is the guitar solo in the bridge. I have to say it's MCR's best guitar solo. Ray, you absolute beast. I don't know, something about the build up into the solo and then Gerard's vocals in the background makes it heavenly. The chorus is also incredible, obviously one of MCR's best. The harmonies within the backing vocals are amazing as well, most notably in the chorus and outro. Speaking of, the backup singers, I'm guessing Ray and Frank, made the outro super epic. Without a doubt, one of MCR's best guitar songs, and I'm so sorry for sleeping on To the End for so long, because now it's one of my absolute favorites. Next up is my favorite track from Danger Days, Save Yourself, I'll Hold Them Back. Save Yourself is by far Danger Days' best song, and it's not even close. I don't want to go super deep into the instrumentals because I already did that in my Danger Days video, but this track makes great use of the bass guitar, drums, and of course Gerard's vocals are amazing. I like how this song took the signature rebellious Danger Days energy and put an almost dangerous sounding spin on it. A lot of the lyrics feel very reckless and all over the place, which we love, and then the instrumentals follow suit in the best way possible. The bridge, especially the guitar solo, is just absolutely insane, and it's my favorite part, obviously. Save Yourself, I'll Hold Them Back is so amazing. It's a top 20 song of all time for me. The Ghost of You has always been one of my absolute favorite MCR songs. I mean, it's a classic. One of the band's first big hits, and the music video is just... I love the overly melancholy atmosphere this track gives off, especially in the chorus and bridge. There's something about Gerard singing in the chorus that always gives me the chills. He emulates the emotion of hopelessness so perfectly in this. The best part, though, is definitely the bridge. First off, the build-up at the beginning of the bridge, especially when paired with the music video, sets the stage perfectly for Gerard's depressing singing, humming, whatever. You know what part I'm talking about. Again, this man's talent to show emotions in his singing is unmatched. Anyways, The Ghost of You is absolutely essential for MCR's discography to be complete, and it's a top 10 song of all time. Now, my second favorite song ever, The Sharpest Lives. The Sharpest Lives is one of my first true loves in music. When I first heard it, I was instantly obsessed and put it on repeat for hours. A few years ago, after I went many months without listening to MCR, this was the song to bring me back. I can't stress to you enough how perfect I think this song is. Every single element in every section has just the right amount of power, all the right notes, and most importantly, my favorite chorus of any song ever made. Even then, the chorus isn't even my favorite part cut and dry. In my opinion, the final 80 seconds of this track is the second best clip of music ever made by humanity, rivaled only by the next entry on this list. Gerard's singing/humming in the outro is otherworldly, and the guitars just make everything feel even more epic than it already was. I yapped about this track for like 5 minutes in my Black Parade video, so if you want to hear all that, then I definitely recommend watching that video. Anyways, The Sharpest Lives is again my second favorite song of all time, second only to... Yep, This Is How I Disappear is the greatest song ever made, at least for me. It's still hard to believe that anyone could think up and create something better than the already insane Sharpest Lives, but MCR did it again and gave us this masterpiece. How I Disappear seems to be pretty well liked by most of the community, but I've only seen 1 or 2 people put it in their top 3 or so. I'm gonna try not to yap too much, but here goes. From start to finish, This Is How I Disappear finds every correct combination of notes to make my brain happy. Whether that's in the intro, verses, chorus, bridge, outro, everything is literally perfect. Of course, you probably saw this coming, but my personal favorite section is the bridge, especially the breakdown part. Like with the previous 4 entries, every part of the bridge feels heavenly and like, how did they even come up with this stuff? While How I Disappear's chorus isn't as good as the one in The Sharpest Lives, it's still incredible and the bridge more than makes up for that. I can't get over this song, it's just so perfect, and thank you to the boys at MCR for making something like this possible. That was my list of top 20 My Chemical Romance songs. I hope you enjoyed and maybe even had some of the same songs on your list. This is the final installment of the MCR series here on this channel. I've had a ton of fun making these videos, but I'm also very excited to move on to even bigger and better things. My next series will be based around Black Veil Brides, which I discovered in December and have been obsessed with for almost 6 whole months. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider subscribing to the channel for future content. I'm in a race with my cousin for 100 subscribers. And if you haven't seen my past MCR videos, then you might like those too. I go much deeper into each song there. Thank you so much for watching, and have a nice day, guys.